Well, hello, and welcome back to Toy Thursday with Johnny Tiger on May 26, 2022. What is special about today? Funny, that is exactly what I googled this morning. And imagine that, I actually learned something new because there is something special about today, quite a special day. In fact, if you are Christian or Catholic, you probably know about this already, but today apparently it's called Ascension Day. What the heck is Ascension Day? No offense to our more religious viewers, but me not being religious, I really had no idea. So, in a nutshell, the legend went, I mean, most of us know about this part, right? So, after Jesus was crucified, he waited 3 days and then he came back to life. So that was our Easter, Easter, Good Friday, and all that stuff. So most of us know that part. But one of the questions I always asked people, and many people, even those who were religious, couldn't give me an answer. Is that okay? So he came back to life. What happened to him after that? How come no one talked about what happened to him after that? So apparently there was something else that there was an afterward. So 40 days after Easter, so 40 days after Jesus died and was resurrected, uh, 40 days from that event, Jesus took all his followers to this mountain, and then he climbed to the top of the mountain, and he told his followers, "It is time for me to go, and the rest of you must stay and spread God's word." And then from the top of that mountain, Jesus ascended to heaven. So 40 days after Easter every year, it is Ascension Day, the day when Jesus Christ ascended to heaven and rejoined his Father in heaven and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I never knew about that before, so this is kind of interesting. So that made me think that, well, it's a kind of a big deal. So I want to stay true to what I've been doing, which is trying to show an action figure that correlate with special events and what's going on. So Ascension Day, I thought, well, that would be kind of cool to show a figure that can correlate with this special event. Sadly, I don't have an action figure of Jesus Christ. I don't know if there's ever been one made. I would be actually surprised if there wasn't. Um, but I never seen one. Okay. I mean, I have what might amount to Jesus in other properties, but I don't want to show those and possibly offend someone. I mean, I imagine if I show you a armored, sword wielding barbarian and said this actually is supposed to be Jesus in his storyline, yeah, that might be a bit of a far stretch, right? Even though there has been speculation, such as, for example, in The Lord of the Ring, Gandalf. Gandalf is often compared as that version of Jesus Christ by the more religious reader of Lord of the Ring. Anyway, far-fetched, in my opinion. But anyway, um, so I don't have an actual Jesus Christ in my collection, and nothing too overtly religious. In fact, uh, I do have a whole lot of angelic warriors that I could have shown, but I figured that would be kind of a cheap way out. And then I remember this little action figure, probably the most WTF figure in my collection. Like I can't even believe that I'm going to be showing her on camera. I can't believe I'm doing a toy search and this action figure. This is how uh, nonplussed I feel about this action figure. But it is very relevant to this day. So for this day, we're going to showcase the most WTF figure I own. And I will show you guys, introduce you guys to the Bible Girl. So who in the world is Bible Girl? Well, she is a sidekick to, and I kid you not, Bibleman. Okay, and now if you say, who in the world is Bibleman? Well, that's a really good question. Um, Essentially, Bibleman is a superhero, a Christian superhero, from a children's evangelical show that ran from 1995 all the way to 2010. Funny that it ran for 15 years. I never even heard of it until I was doing research on Bible Girl. But anyway, it was kind of one of those direct-to-video release, and it got put on TV, and it was big enough that they actually made video games on Bibleman, and there were comic books and all that stuff. I still never heard of it. Uh, it's pretty cheesy. I hate to say this because I don't mean to offend anyone who's religious. Like Bible is cool, Jesus Christ is cool, but Bible man, yeah, no. Uh, Basically, Bibleman is this like millionaire inventor dude who uh, one day decided to fight for the cause of God and spread God's word so everyone can become Christian. And then the whole show is about him defeating evil, and the bad guys have really campy, cheesy names like Doctor uh, Doctor Hate, and then temptation and jealousy, and basically all the things that Bible it says to be bad in the Bible. All the bad guys got those names, and Bible man and his sidekick, they are armed with God's equipment, like the chest plate of righteousness. Oh my God, it's just making me cringe just saying that. The shoes of peace, the helmet of faith, the sword of justice, the shield of blah blah blah, and the belt of truth. A whole bunch of something, and it's all godly and holy, and they go forth and fight this evil, and spread God's word so everyone can be good Christians. I mean, uh, uh, one of the episodes' name is called "Slip the Bond of Disobedience." Slip the bond of disobedience. I mean, do they even understand what they're talking about? Like, disobedient is not a bond. Obedience, on the other hand, would be a bond. Disobedient is freedom. Anyway, uh, putting the show aside, because I never actually watched it, so I can't really criticize it too much. Uh, let's talk about the action figure. So, Bible Girl, the sidekick to Bible Man. Bible Girl's original name was Leah Martinez, and on the TV series, she was originally played by a Hispanic actress. After the Hispanic actress quit the show, they got a new person playing Bible Girl, so they changed her name to from Martinez to Martin. She became Leah Martin. What's interesting is through the whole run of the series, Bible Girl had to change actress 4 times. There were 4 actresses that played Bible Girl. I mean, how rough is that character to play? And you need to change actress 4 times. I don't know. It must be pretty rough. Beyond that, without watching the actual show, which I really don't want to, because it is listed as one of the top 20 worst Christian show ever made, and I mean, I really don't want to go out of my way to watch a Christian show to begin with. But when something is listed at the top 20 worst, no, I don't want to waste my life doing that. Um, so I can't really tell you much about what does Bible Girl do exactly. What's her superpower, if she has any superpower, yada yada yada. Now I'm sure all this armor she wears just like Bibleman, supposed to make her some kind of holy warrior. She's supposed to have godly power and righteous might and all that stuff. So, but I don't know. I'm just speculating because even when you go read up on the internet, there's really not that much information about Bible Girl. There's a lot more information about Bible Man, but not Bible Girl. Surprise, surprise! A Christian show that is actually sexist. Uh, yeah. Anyway, Bible Girl, sidekick to Bibleman, wears the female version of Bibleman's holy armor, uh, stands around 5 inches tall, and was released about 2001, I believe. Now, I really, like I said, I never heard of the show until I researched this figure. And how I came by this figure was one time a friend of mine showed up and said, I bought you an action figure. It was really cool. And I said, oh, great. What's the action figure? And she handed it to me. I picked her up at a garage sale. See, it's still in her packaging. And this is amazing Bible girl. And I kind of did a double take. I was like, what? Bible, who was it? What's it, girl? Bible girl. Have you never heard of Bible girl? I like, no. And my friend, I never heard of her either, but she's a female action figure, wear armor, seems like something that you would like. And I was like, no, if it's Bible anything, it doesn't sound like anything I'd like, but thanks. Anyway, I'm sure I'll find a place for Bible Girl in my collection. So far, I failed. Like, so far, she's always been displayed on her own because I just can't fit her in anywhere. Yeah, just weird. Okay. Um, she's clad in a lot of armor. In fact, uh, the armor don't even attempt to make her look that good. She, the armor plates on her. There's so many layers of armor that she looks kind of barrel shaped or kind of no curve. She reminds me of one of those early 90s Power Ranger action figure where you couldn't really tell whether male or female. I mean, you can tell it's a female because she got a kind of a skirt on and she got a little bit of a chest, got a little bit of bust line going, but just the shape is not nice. Like, I'm not saying that female superheroes should all be like Wonder Woman or Catwoman or those like sex symbols, but come on. I mean, if you want to put a female in armor and make her do God's work, she should at least look like she's capable of doing God's work. I mean, this thing just doesn't really look that functional. What she's wearing just make it look like it's going to restrict her movement a lot, which it actually does. Well, it would if she had much articulation to begin with. Because she's a product of the 2001, she really has very little useful articulation to speak of. Uh, Now, this is obviously no excuse because those of us who collect, we've seen much better articulation around that time. Heck, 2001, 2002, that's when Marvel Legend first was available, and those things were super articulated, like 30 to 40 points of articulation. Like they moved more than a real human would. Lord of the Ring figures also came out around 2000, 2001. They moved just fine. So this just seemed like whoever made Bibleman toy just thought, oh yeah, we're going to make toys based on the Bibleman because uh, loving Christian children are going to buy them. And guess what? You couldn't buy Bibleman action figure anywhere other than uh, Christian bookstores and maybe like my friend found them garage sale. Bible Girl is articulated as a neck, shoulder, wrist, hips, and knees. Now, while on some figures that sound okay, uh, on this figure it's not okay. Why? Because she's wearing like this skirt. Like, why would you go and try to do God's work and fight evil when wearing a skirt? I don't know. But anyway, she's wearing a skirt which is made of hard rubber, and this skirt effectively makes it impossible to move her hip. So her hip joints is no good. They can't move, which means knee joints are pointless because unless you can move the hip, the knee joints, there's nothing you can do with them. Well, maybe you can get her to kneel down. I don't know. Her neck articulation is mostly made pointless because of her hair. Long hair tend to block neck articulation. That's a problem that action figures today still have. So in the end, they're kind of left with her arm, which is okay. Her wrist and her shoulder can actually get her into several poses. However, because her both arms are perfectly straight and there's no elbow joints, so she's stuck with very limited posing ability with and going to look really weird in some poses. Like if you try to stick her arm out in front of her, she's going to go into like a zombie mode. Oh yeah, her waist is jointed too, so you can turn her body to the left and right. So she can do a zombie pose and then turn to the left and turn to the right, like she's doing a torso twist, I guess. Uh, yeah, very underwhelming action figure. On her back, she has a tiny little cape. Okay, that's kind of cute. Kind of adorable. However, it is soft good, so all it does is hang there. It doesn't have any dramatic, artistic look to it. Like, this whole figure could have been very cool. Like, I would have been down for very cool looking figure, like if she looks like a very capable, very cool looking warrior, and she's called Bible Girl, I would be okay with that. But she got a very lame name. She's from a very lame property. What the heck is Bible Man anyway? And she looks like a dumpy little female action figure who can't move, very stiff, and wearing a very uh, uh, lame kind of looking armor. She looked like someone took the idea behind She-Ra and took all the cool factor out of She-Ra. Everything that made She-Ra good looking and powerful, and what's left is a dumpy little female, supposedly superheroine action figure. Well, at least she did come with a couple of accessories, one of which is a miniature Bible. It's just a solid piece of plastic sculpted to look like a Bible. You can't open it or anything. I can't show it here because I don't know where it is. I know I still have it. I think it's probably being held by one of my vampire slayers, uh, and I can't really say for sure where on the shelf it is. So anyway, she came with a tiny Bible, and she also came with her main weapon. Now, in I believe that in the TV series in the game, she first started with this weapon, which is honestly for the longest time I didn't know what the hell this was. I thought it was part of her cape or something. Apparently, it's supposed to be some kind of a net. Not sure what she did with that in the show. Like I said, I've never watched the show. Maybe she throw the net over an evildoer and traps them in the net, and then Bibleman can beat them with whips until they convert to Christianity. Uh, hear the see the folly of their ways and convert over to God. I don't know. I don't know. That just sounds like uh, some horrifying way to convert somebody. But so yeah, I don't know what the next is supposed to do. Maybe it's like Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. Maybe she throw the net over somebody and that person cannot lie, or something. I don't know. Feel free to use your imagination. Later in the show, they converted her to over using a gun, which is even weirder. You have a Christian show for kids, and then you have uh, good guys using guns. But anyway, in this action figure, we have the net, which, like I said, for the longest time, I didn't know what it's supposed to be. It's just a big, long piece of plastic, rubbery plastic, plasticky rubber, whatever it is, and it feels all gummy, like someone chew the bubble gum and then like spit it out and let it dry. It's just kind of hard to tell what it's supposed to be unless you know that's supposed to be her weapon. It is pretty large, and her hands can hold it. She can hold it, swing it above her head, like I show her do here. But unfortunately, because it's large, she and her elbow can't bend, so she can't really use it in any convincing way. You can either pose it with her holding it up like this, or behind her like this, or in front of her legs like this. Otherwise, there's really not a heck of a lot you can do with this. You can't really net an action figure with it because, like I said, it's a hard piece of gummy plastic rubber thing. So it definitely doesn't really serve its purpose. And it's only sculpted on the one side. And if you look at the underside, the underside is totally flat. There's no sculptural details on the other side. I don't know if it's even painted to look like a net on the underside. So yeah, the whole action figure and her weapon, and truth be told, the concept of the show is just kind of half-assed at best. Uh, Nothing exciting. Definitely the most humbug, the most WTF action figure I have in my collection. But I'm glad she served her purpose. No, not fighting evil and bringing people to God's way. She served a purpose for being the action figure that is relevant on Ascension Day. This is why we are doing a video on this character, this action figure that I really don't care for at all. Anyway, I hope after this, at least you guys learn that yes, there is a Ascension Day, and you know that there's a show called Bibleman, and yes, there's a character called Bible Girl. I will talk to you tomorrow in Fitness Friday. For now, have a good night.